You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So every week, I do a little bit of pruning, and I've been doing it since the middle of December. Since we got that first cold snap, went after it. You're chilly. When it's frosty at night, that's your cue. Start pruning, because all the bugs start to hibernate. The disease starts to, it's just safer for your plant. You're not going to spread things as easily. So this week, I pruned my Russian sage. I had 6 of them out by the street. They're beautiful. They've been there for many years. And here's the insider tip I can give you with Russian sage. Cut it back to about knee high. Okay, you're going to whack it back by at least a half or more. But the insider tip really is to go after the suckers. They got runners that kind of rhizomes almost, roots that kind of come off to the side. I try to pull those up because I want it to stay in this vase-shaped look to it. It's more formal, better. They want to go wild if you don't do that. Second, after I start with the hedging, get my hedgers out, just whack them right back to knee high, get them rounded, pull up some side shoots so they're tidy. Then I go deep inside the Russian sage, and I'm looking for the older, more mature branches coming up from the base. And I try to cut those back right down to the ground. And you'll know who they are because they're dark colored. So the best colors on Russian sage come from fresh new growth. So you want those tender new shoots coming up from the ground, fresh every year. So I'll thin out probably a quarter to a third of all the sticks coming out, because there's no foliage right now. It's just sticks. And so I'm going for the big, hairy, old, mature. They've got bark on them. They got a darker color. I'm trying to cut all those out. And what's left are light-colored, thinner, wispier branches that are coming up, and those will give you the best color for next year. So it takes maybe, 15 minutes to cut a Russian sage. Not even that. If you're in production mode, which, I've been doing this for years, just get in there. I've got my power 40 volt hedgers. Then I got my power pruners. And so I'm just going after like Edward Scissorhands, just boom, 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 boom. But it doesn't take that long. And don't be afraid. They like to be pruned. They like to be shaped. They feel pretty when you get done. They feel better. They feel like they're not so wild, a bohemian. They're back to their good-looking self, and they're ready to grow. Starting probably the end of March, you'll start to see new shoots coming up. They'll start blooming, though, a couple months after that. So they leaf out, then they start blooming, and they bloom all summer through fall. And so that's your insider tip on pruning, specifically Russian sage. We've got our classes starting back too, and I'm sure we'll cover some of this. So the first garden classes this weekend, Saturday at 9:30, we start this spring's series. It starts with houseplants, and then it goes into how to prune, how to get your soils ready, how to plant a new fruit tree. There's a whole series of those. You can take a look at watersgardencenter.com. There's a big button on the front that says classes. It's right there. They're free. Hang out with some really cool people called gardeners, where it's January, so it's going to be warm in the greenhouses. So don't worry about weather. We can control the temperature, but you get to hang out, just smell the flowers. The pollinators are out. Things are blooming. The camellias are in bloom. Go figure. They're a month early. So it's kind of spring. The leading indicators that spring's coming. The plants want to be here. Is going to be at the garden center. So join us every Saturday at 9:30 at Waters Garden Center. As the days get longer and brighter, houseplants can struggle and scorch, but we have the solution.
At Waters, we've organized our houseplants from A to Z for the brightest of sunny locations, many even bloom.
With experts that know plants and how to make them grow.
Shipments of the freshest houseplants in town have just arrived from A to Z and ready for a bright new home.
Waters Garden Center, where people who love bright green houseplants, they love to shop. Found in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.